Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Oh, hi, Sock. Got Sock Monkey up on the stall, I was going to say. Up on the stand today, and she is chatty, or she was. So you've met Sock before, so we are grooming and rambling. We are not necessarily grooming and doing a Sock Monkey overview. You can go back to her Meet the Goats to get that. But she is definitely feeling herself today for a couple reasons. One is she's starting to come of age, so she will be entering our breeding program this year. And although she's had heat before, this is the first heat where we're getting closer to breeding season and nature is starting to say, hey, whoa. Well, there you go. That's an adventure for today's video. Hi. You need to be locked in because I don't want you jumping off a stand. So there you go. There's a fun lesson learned. Sock is one of our smallest goats. And clearly I did not tighten down the head restraint. Is the head restraint hurting her? It is not. It is just a restraint. It has to be tight enough so that they can't turn their head and slip through it like she just did. And it has to be loose enough that they can breathe, that they're not trapped anywhere. And she's hollering because, as I was trying to tell you before we had our adventure, she is feeling herself today. And that's all I can say about that, is she's just feeling herself today. She is becoming a woman, and she is letting everybody know it. She's actually really in good shape in terms of grooming. She's just got the standard rear end stuff going on, which, given that she's in heat and not happy about it, is not fun for her. And the other reason that she's yelling like this is because she's restrained. Goats don't want to be restrained. And they're not restrained hard. I mean, you've seen enough of my videos to know that they have free motion. They're comfortable. The older goats stand still. I know. You're making it very hard to talk. But the restraint is on purpose, right? This grooming stand is, where their feet are is at my waist. So, 3 feet up, I guess. The last thing I want is for a goat to try and jump off of that. That's why I like the side rails, although with Sock Monkey, the side rails are useless because she's small enough that they aren't really a blocker. But the head restraint is really there just to make sure that they stay still, they don't fall off the stand, and I can groom them with, maybe not with quiet, but with relative ease. That's all it is. And she's showing you she can freely move her head, so I just want you to be clear that, that big heavy chain you just saw me wrap around her neck is just what the grooming stand came with. It's designed, again, this stand is not meant for miniature breeds, right? It's a heavy-duty stand. It's meant for larger animals. And so it looks more substantial, and it is more substantial than it really needs to be. When they're too little to even use that, and some, before they're about a year old, they're too little to use even that. I just use their collar and their lead, and we tie that around the pole, and we make do. It's not quite as effective because they have a little bit more range of motion with that, which makes my life just a hair harder. But it's better for the goat, so that's what we do. I am just about done with this side. We've got one more little section here that's yucky. So stop being such a complainer. Why are you being such a complainer? I'm super excited to put her into our breeding program this year. She's turning into a gorgeous doe. She still needs to get some coat in. She needs length of coat, no doubt, but her coat texture is amazing. Every time I groom her, I'm more and more pleased with what I see. And some of the pregnancy hormones that will happen, assuming she does get pregnant, will also help accelerate a little bit of that coat growth. I know that's weird, but it is. That's what happens. It does absolutely help. The hormones help kick in some coat length, and they usually look fabulous after being a first freshener. First freshener meaning, again, that they had their first babies. So I have high hopes for her, but I don't think she's going to the show ring in fall. I'm not even sure I'm going to the show in fall. Still making some decisions there. It's an expensive prospect. It's a lot of days off of work. Are you being goofy? And it is a lot of hard work to get prepared, and I'm not sure I have enough goats ready for the show ring that I feel the investment of time is worth it. For me personally, there are people that go to the shows with just 1 or 2 goats, but if I'm going to drive 6 or 7 hours and do all of the work to prep, pack the car, get the show ring stalls ready, be at the show for 2 full days, clean up, pack up, drive home, not to mention pay for hotels, farm sitters, and all the rest. I really want it to be more than 1 or 2 goats. So right now I'm evaluating goats and thinking about the fall show. I miss the shows. I haven't been in a couple of years, not quite a couple of years. I haven't been in a year and a half. And that's primarily because I ran out of goats to take, number 1. And number 2, the show got moved a further distance. I forgot to spray her down. The show got moved to a different location, which is a much further distance from me. Uh-oh, twice. Oh my goodness. You didn't like the spray? You're too bad. The spray is the easy part. There we go. Can we have your head, please? So it's a fine line here, guys, with this chain and this hold up, is whether or not it's too tight. If it's too tight, she certainly wouldn't be able to escape. If it's too loose, she can escape. But at the same time, I'm trying to balance her comfort as well. I don't want her jammed in there where she can't feel like she can move her head, move her neck, breathe. But she has clearly figured out the Boy, you guys are getting a heck of a show for this one. All right. So what we do in this case is we don't tighten the chain any further because that just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to hurt her in any way, shape, or form. So we introduce the collar. And the collar is my backup. I actually prefer to have it off when I'm grooming because it gets in the way. But if she's going to be as ornery as she is right now, we're going to have some backup. So I was trying to talk about the show. See, this is why I say the collar gets in the way. It's just kind of a pain in the rear. But if we're going to do that, then the collar is my backup, and I'm just not even going to bother trying to put her back in the head restraint. We're just going to go. She's still attached. She can't jump off the stand, but she's going to have a bit more flexibility to move away from me, to express herself. So you might get a really good show today, which is funny because the last time I groomed her, she did not do that. And that is the difference between being in heat and not being in heat. But one of the things that I always say, and I have said to you multiple times, is I roll with what the goat wants, right? I still have to get done what I need to get done. We need to groom her. There's no doubt about that. She needs groomed. It has to happen. She's not going to get out of the grooming process. But if she wants to be a bit more free, if she wants to feel that she has a bit more control, if she wants to be irritable, obnoxious, ornery, however we want to frame it, then she can. And I'm going to work within those parameters, right? So this is what I mean by having a bit more freedom of motion. She's now going to pull away from me. I'm going to have to work a little bit harder to reach her, reach across. My arms are going to get a little bit more tired. Thankfully, it's an easy grooming session, so not a big deal. If it were a spring grooming session, this would be miserable and my arms would be sore by the time I was done. Just from that little bit of extra reach, that little bit of extra, I have to keep my elbow up, my shoulder up, right? All those things. But this is fast. We're almost done. So before I finish up, if we can keep from getting another adventure with Sock Monkey, show, right? So my preference is to have multiple goats to be able to bring to the show just to make the cost, the time investment worth it. And I haven't had that the last couple of years. So I'm currently really scrutinizing the herd, looking at who's not already a master champion, because if they're already a master champion, they are retired from the ring. I do not drag them back for best in show. If they're able to go into the best in show class during the show where they get their master champion title, fabulous, I put them in. But once they get their master champion title, from my perspective, they are done. Best in show is bragging rights. It's absolutely lovely. It's great recognition. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't have points. It doesn't improve their, necessarily their quality. And that's not the word. Doesn't improve their value, I guess. Of course, they're all priceless in my mind. So anyway, so once they're a master champion, they don't go back in the ring, at least not from my farm. So I have to look at my goats that aren't master champions. And I have these youngsters, so Sock Monkey and Wren, who both have yet to be in the show ring because my opinion is that they are not ready for the show ring. Their coat is not long enough. Their coat quality is there. This texture is there. Their conformation is there. But their length of coat, the fact that it's not yet on the floor or getting closer is what is holding me back from putting those two in the ring. Could I put them in the ring anyway? Absolutely, I could. Would they win? Probably not. Am I only doing it for the win? No, the judges' feedback is important to me, so I'm not only doing it for the win. But if I feel like they're going to be out-competed by every other goat in the ring, and that's really how I feel right now, then the cost, right, let's call it $100 a weekend for each goat to go into the ring. It's actually probably a little bit more than that, but we'll just use round numbers, right? I have to decide if I really want to spend that $100 per goat to either know that I'm just there to let them get used to being in the ring and to maybe get some feedback from a judge, but always be, at the bottom of the class. Or if I give them time to grow, mature, and put them in the ring at that, same cost when they've got a better shot of being toward the top of the class. They don't have to be ready to win. I can't guarantee that no matter what. I could look at a goat and think this is the most stunning goat in the world, and the judge may or may not agree with me. And that will happen at every show with every judge. But I want to at least believe that they are representing themselves and my farm to the best of the ability. So Sock Monkey and Wren are not ready for the show. Misty and Persephone both need to get back into the show. They both only have one more leg to go for their master championship. It would be amazing if they could get it. But the only way to do that is to get them in the show. And then Lotus, I promised her I was going to retire her, but my gosh, she looks so good right now, and I really would love her to get her last point. She's another one that only needs one more point. Now, they'd all be competing against each other, which is always interesting. But you never know, right? A judge has preferences, and Persephone is small, Misty is personable, Lotus is beautiful. So they have different things that make catch a judge's eye beyond their quality of coat, quality of texture, conformation, and the normal stuff that I look for. So they can compete against each other, and 3 different judges may have them placed in 3 different locations in the judging. There we go, bud. We're done. We just have to do some spray now, which clearly you're not in the mood for. So I'm deciding, right? Oops, there's one spot here. Do I take those 3 girls, which are really my only 3 girls right now that are show worthy, and get them groomed up for the show? That requires bathing, conditioning, multiple grooming sessions, load up the trailer, which is, a lot of work, drive 6 hours, do 2 days worth of show, which involves setting up stalls, breaking down stalls, keeping them groomed, pay for hotel while I'm out there, pay for food while I'm on the road, pay for a farm sitter to come for the really 4 days it would be of me being away. And that's probably the most expensive part. I cheap out on the motel, hotel. But a farm sitter is expensive, right? Somebody that has to come and stay here. So if they're staying here for 4 days, because I would have to drive out on a Friday, the show would be Saturday, Sunday, and then I would either drive home really late Sunday night, but more likely than not, I would drive home Monday morning. So that's days off of work. Right, it's a whole procedure now that the show is not local. When the show was 2 hours away, it was a piece of cake. Go after work on a Friday. Could always come home if we needed to. So farm sitter was optional, and we were home by Sunday, dinner time, as opposed to worrying about being out and away for so many days. So those are the decisions that I'm making around. I know, you're so funny. I'm making around whether I'm going to go to the show in fall or not. If I don't go to the show in fall, then I will definitely be going in spring, because if all goes as planned, I say definitely, if all goes as planned, I will have a baby, a retain from, the spring babies that I want to see in the ring and get some feedback on. Sock Monkey and Ren may actually have matured enough to be able to be in the ring. And then if I haven't had Misty, Persephone, and Lotus in the ring, then those 3 would go. And that would be, let's call it 6 goats. And that certainly makes a difference. It makes it more expensive in terms of goat entry cost, but it makes the amount of investment in hotel, travel, effort much less, because you're getting 6 goats for that same, investment. So anyway, that's a little bit about the show. Speaking of show, Sock Monkey certainly gave you one today. Before I lock her down, let me turn off the camera. So I hope you are having a fabulous day wherever you are in the world. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Be kind. Be a little adventuresome. Be a little ornery. Be a goat. And thank you for being a part of my community. We'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.